Life's Lessons, Story Number 1, The Detour. Hey Renewal Horizons family, I am Sienna, welcome back. Today's the first of many stories we'll be sharing in our brand new series, Life Lessons at the Crossroads. These stories are real, relatable, and rooted in one simple truth. God is always speaking, sometimes through the places we least expect. Have you ever had your plans fall apart? You mapped it out, you prayed, you prepared, and then it didn't happen the way you thought it would? Today's story is about that exact moment. A young woman full of dreams has her big break fall through, but what looked like disappointment turned out to be a divine detour. This is a story of purpose, perspective, and learning to trust that God's no is never the end. It's often a redirection towards something greater. So take a breath, open your heart, and lean in. Here's our very first short story, The Detour. Tasha had a plan. It was sharp, detailed, color-coded in her planner, and backed by 3 years of vision boards. She was 28, driven, and ready to launch her event planning business in her hometown of Charlotte. She had saved, sacrificed, and finally, she was one phone call away from locking in a contract that would take her from dreaming to doing. The call came on a Wednesday, but the voice on the other end didn't say yes. It said, "Unfortunately, we've gone with someone else." Tasha stared at her ceiling that night, her stomach in knots. She had built everything around this moment. Her plan, her timeline, her strategy. She felt like God had watched her prepare, only to let her fall. "Lord, I thought you were in this. What now?" Here came the detour. A few weeks later, her cousin Shayla called. "Hey, can you come help out at the youth retreat this weekend? One of our leaders dropped out." Tasha wanted to say no. Her pride wanted to say, "I'm building a business, not babysitting teenagers." But something in her spirit whispered, "Go." She packed her bags, drove to the mountains, and checked in. There was no Wi-Fi, no fancy decor, just kids, counselors, and campfire prayers. The second night, during a quiet breakout group, a 15-year-old girl named Nia sat beside her, tears running down her cheeks. "My mom left. I just feel invisible," Nia whispered. Tasha felt a lump in her throat. She knew that feeling, not from her mother, but from life, from moments where she prayed and felt like God was silent. So she didn't give a speech. She just held Nia's hand and said, "You're not invisible. God sees you, even in this." The next morning, Nia handed her a note. It read, "Thank you. Last night was the first time I believed God might still care about me. I think He sent you here for me." Tasha stared at those words. They hit her harder than any yes she could have gotten on a business deal. She realized something in that moment. Her purpose wasn't just about plans. It was about people. And sometimes God reroutes us not to punish us, but to position us. Months later, Tasha launched her business, and it was bigger than she imagined. Not because of the first contract, but because someone from the retreat had referred her to their church. That led to a conference. That led to corporate clients. And at every event she planned, she included a quiet moment, a prayer table, or a small space of reflection, just in case someone like Nia needed to know they were seen. Life lesson comes in various forms. Sometimes the delay is the divine detour, and the plan you're building is smaller than the purpose God's preparing. When your path doesn't make sense, trust this. God's reroute is always for your renewal. Let's reflect on Tasha's story. You know, when Tasha missed that opportunity, she thought she had failed. But what she didn't know was that God hadn't closed a door. He was opening a different one. That youth retreat wasn't part of her business plan, but it was part of God's purpose. Because sometimes what looks like a setback is actually a setup, not for your plan, but for His glory. Let's be real. We all want life to go according to our timeline, but the truth is, some of the greatest blessings show up off schedule. And when you feel stuck, frustrated, or unsure, that's where faith steps in. Proverbs 16:9 says, "A man plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps." So maybe you're in a waiting season. Maybe something didn't go how you thought it would. Here's what I want you to remember. Just because the path changed doesn't mean the promise is canceled. God sees what you don't. He's not wasting time. He's building you for what's next. And like Tasha, you'll look back one day and say, I didn't understand it at the time, but now I see why he led me the long way. So whatever season you're in, keep trusting, keep showing up. And most of all, stay open to the detour, because it just might be the road that leads you to your purpose. Thanks for being with us today. If this spoke to your heart, share it with someone who needs a reminder that God is still guiding their steps. And don't forget, this is just the beginning. More stories, more lessons, and more moments of renewal are coming. Until next time, keep growing for His glory and for your good.